Cleveland Browns QB shakeup. Kenny Pickett faces cut as Shadur Sanders emerges, but Jimmy Haslam eyes Arch Manning. In the high-stakes world of NFL quarterback rotations, dreams can either flourish or fall apart in an instant, and right now, the Cleveland Browns are at the center of one of the most fascinating quarterback storylines in the league. As training camp heats up in Berea, Ohio, there's one certainty echoing louder than any quarterback cadence. Change is coming, and fast. As the franchise stares down the barrel of another uncertain season under center, the future of former first-round pick Kenny Pickett hangs by a thread. At the same time, a new face, rookie sensation Shadur Sanders, is stirring waves of excitement within the Browns fanbase. But even amid this promising potential, there's a thunderstorm on the horizon. Jimmy Haslam, the team's billionaire owner, is reportedly setting his sights on the next generational talent, Arch Manning. What started as a conventional QB competition has now spiraled into a full-blown organizational identity crisis. The QB carousel, Kenny Pickett's slippery slope. For Kenny Pickett, the past 2 seasons have been a whirlwind of change, frustration, and fleeting glory. Drafted in the first round by the Pittsburgh Steelers, Pickett was touted as the next franchise face to follow in the legendary footsteps of Ben Roethlisberger. But what unfolded was a roller coaster of mediocrity, with flashes of brilliance buried beneath inconsistency and injury setbacks. Despite a 14-10 record as a starter in Pittsburgh, Pickett failed to win the full trust of head coach Mike Tomlin. His trade to the Philadelphia Eagles came as a surprise to some, especially given that he was relegated to a backup role behind Jalen Hurts. Though he earned a Super Bowl ring as part of that Eagles roster, it came more as a souvenir of circumstance than a testament to performance. Now, with his third team in as many years, Pickett finds himself once again fighting for his professional life, and the odds are not in his favor. Stefanski's statement, "It's twofold," and a warning. At a press conference ahead of training camp, Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski issued a telling statement. "The big thing for us is making sure we give the guys enough reps that they need. Making sure that they have enough. It's twofold." To the untrained ear, that might sound like coach speak. But to NFL insiders and quarterback hopefuls, it was a warning shot. There are only so many reps to go around in training camp. And when 4 quarterbacks are competing for the same job, the reality is that someone's dreams will be dashed before the preseason is even halfway through. And it appears that someone might be Kenny Pickett. ESPN's 53-man roster projection. Trouble for Pickett. The speculation surrounding Pickett's future intensified when ESPN's Daniel Oyefusi released the Browns' 53-man roster projection. Noticeably absent from the list, Kenny Pickett. Included instead were veteran Joe Flacco, rookie Dylan Gabriel, and 5th-round pick Shadur Sanders, a trio that raises eyebrows for vastly different reasons. Flacco, the grizzled vet, offers stability. Gabriel, the newcomer, offers potential. And Sanders? He brings intrigue, buzz, and the prime brand power that comes from being the son of Hall of Famer Deion Sanders. The omission of Pickett speaks volumes. And in a league where depth charts are gospel, it's not just about who's suiting up. It's about who's being written out. Mary Kay Cabot's take. The clock is ticking. Veteran Browns reporter Mary Kay Cabot provided additional fuel to the fire, noting, "My guess is that Kenny Pickett still has a slight edge in terms of being number 1 on the depth chart heading into training camp, but that could quickly change. Indeed, even if Pickett starts camp as QB1, there's no guarantee he makes it through August. In Cleveland, quarterback allegiances are fragile, and public sentiment is quick to pivot. After all, this is a franchise that has cycled through 35 starting quarterbacks since 1999. The Shadur Sanders effect. Primetime pressure. Enter Shadur Sanders. Drafted in the 5th round out of Colorado, Sanders arrived with a spotlight far brighter than most mid-round picks. That's the cost of carrying the Sanders name. Expectations come built in. While his minicamp performance was encouraging, there are still major questions about his NFL readiness. But the Browns didn't draft him for mediocrity. They drafted him for the chance to finally secure a long-term solution at quarterback. For a team that has seen promise flame out more times than a candle in the wind, Sanders represents hope. And hope sells tickets. But not everyone is convinced that Sanders is the long-term answer. And one of the biggest skeptics may be the man signing the checks, Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy Haslam's ultimate plan: Arch Manning or bust. While the QB battle rages on the field, a separate drama is unfolding behind closed doors in the executive suites. According to ESPN Cleveland's Tony Rizzo, Haslam has developed an intense interest in none other than Arch Manning, the prodigious quarterback talent and nephew of Peyton and Eli Manning. I know he, Haslam, would not admit it, and I know it's nothing that they want to talk about, but I'm telling you, the thirst that Jimmy Haslam has for Arch Manning is unmatched. Unmatched. Rizzo's statement sent shockwaves through the Browns community. If true, it suggests that regardless of Shadur Sanders' progress, Haslam's eyes are already set on 2026 and a potential blockbuster move for one of football's most recognizable bloodlines. The Tennessee connection, money talks, so does loyalty. Haslam's fascination with Manning isn't baseless. The Browns' owner is a massive University of Tennessee booster, reportedly donating over $100 million to the school. Peyton Manning, of course, is a Tennessee legend. The bond between the Manning family and Haslam runs deep, and that relationship could be the catalyst for a draft day deal 2 years down the road. This isn't just football. It's personal. And in the NFL, personal ambitions often take precedence over on-field performance. What does it mean for Sanders? Shadur Sanders may still have time to prove himself. If he can capitalize on his reps in training camp and preseason, he could silence the doubters and secure his spot on the 53-man roster. But the leash will be short, and the expectations sky-high. In Cleveland, where every incomplete pass sparks Twitter debates and every touchdown triggers overreactions, Sanders will be judged not just by his performance, but by the legacy of his father and the looming shadow of Arch Manning. Could Kenny Pickett still survive the chop? It's not impossible. Injuries happen. Depth is always valuable. And Pickett's experience does have some merit. But make no mistake, his margin for error is razor-thin. A single bad practice rep, a single misread throw, and the writing on the wall becomes prophecy. The reality is clear. The Browns don't have room for 4 quarterbacks, and the most disposable one may be the guy who was supposed to be a franchise savior just 2 years ago. Dillon Gabriel's wild card role. Let's not forget Dillon Gabriel. The Oklahoma standout has been turning heads in the quarterback room and could be a long-term developmental prospect. Though unlikely to start immediately, Gabriel's youth and upside make him an appealing option for the Browns coaching staff in some ways. Gabriel is the anti-Pickett. No baggage, no big expectations, just a blank canvas with raw potential. What happens next? All eyes now turn to the Browns training camp opener. How reps are distributed, how each quarterback performs, and how the media reacts to each play will shape the direction of this franchise. More importantly, how Jimmy Haslam reacts will shape its future. Will Pickett be cut before the season opener? Will Sanders rise to the top and claim the starting job? Will Gabriel leapfrog both with a few breakout practices? And hovering above all is the question no one in the Browns front office wants to answer publicly. Is Arch Manning already penciled into the 2026 draft board? The final word, a franchise at a crossroads. In many ways, the Browns' current quarterback conundrum is a microcosm of their entire modern identity. Filled with potential, haunted by missteps, and constantly searching for a savior. Whether that savior is Shadur Sanders, Dillon Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, or a future name like Arch Manning, remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. Change is coming in Cleveland. And as training camp begins under the scorching July sun, the temperature isn't the only thing rising. So are the stakes. Stay tuned, Dog Pound.